All right, everyone, that's day one complete here at the 99th International 6 Days of Enduro here in Bergamo, Italy. Wild start to the week. We got some rain this morning. If you were checking out my Instagram story at all, we got some rain that we weren't really expecting. And it kind of threw just a little bit of a wrench in the works, just a little bit of a Chinese fire drill, changing out goggles, doing a little bit of extra mud prep, some extra gloves and whatnot. But yeah, just the riders had to figure it out. I was getting wet before the race even got started. And yeah, we ended up having a decent day. This is going to be a shorter video. I don't have any footage from club because I only got one test done with the with the trophy riders, because I've never been to a 6 days where everything is so tight and so close that I couldn't get to any test. By the time I was scheduled to leave the paddock after the Women World Trophy Riders rolled out, the World Trophy Riders that took off first were already heading to the third test, which I can't even get to unless I'm on a motorcycle that I don't have. So I was left with basically just hanging out at the paddock until it was time to go to the fourth test of the day. I didn't have enough time to get to test 5 and then get back before the final work area, the final service for all the riders. So I've never seen it like this, and I guess the race was a lot shorter this what the standard is. I think it was only about 140K, roughly about 90 miles, which is definitely a lot shorter than what I'll give you the breakdown on what happened here in day number 1. If you hear music, I'm walking past the vendor area. They've got great food. I haven't had the food yet, but from everyone I've talked to, had some beer when I got here on Wednesday, thanks to Jason Jones, Cooper Jones' dad, and so I'll leave it at that. But as far as the day goes, in the trophy classification, the World Trophy, it was a battle individually between, actually I'm going to turn around because I know you're not going to hear this. It was a battle between the Italians and the Spaniard for outright individual lead. Italy's Samuele Bernardini took the first test win of the day. The reigning 4-time world champion, or ISDE champion I should say, Joseph Garcia from Spain, he took the next 2 wins. Test 4, Bernardini fired back to grab that one. And then another Italian, Andrea Verona, took the final 2 test wins of the day. As far as overall goes, once all the times were calculated, it was Garcia taking the win, Verona in second, Bernardini in third. And then our highest finishing American was Johnny Gerard in 7th. I didn't say this in the preview video on all the nations. Johnny's riding with a slightly injured hand that happened at the training camp in North Carolina that I was at about a month or so ago. So he's been dealing with that, but with a slightly injured hand, pretty good job for being that high up in the order. The rest of the guys, inconsistency on day 1. Josh Toth had a crash in test 4 as well as test 5 that really hurt him as far as the standings go. And a little bit of a bruise on his leg, on his lower leg, but he says he'll be fine. Doc will get him fixed up tonight. But as far as the trophy classifications go, it is defending champions France out front. The team of Julian Rosali, Teo Espinosa, and Hugo Blanchot, they were killing it today. No test wins amongst the French riders, but consistency amongst all 4 of those guys is what consistently puts them into that front position, and they killed it today. Italy runs second in representing the home nation. Third, after a rough first half of the day, was Sweden, and the veteran of that team, Mikkel Persson, put in a solid performance. I think he was P6 on the day I believe P6 or P8. And Max Allen, Albin Norman, and Axel Sem didn't start off the day great, but they put in some great times in the second half of the afternoon and brought themselves and Sweden back into the mix. Fourth is Spain, primarily off of the back of Garcia. I think Sergio Navarro had a pretty good day. Alejandro not so much, neither with Julio Pando. But, you know, like usual, Garcia is the man for that team, and he's putting them in contention for a podium position. Fifth is the United States after the problems with Josh. However, third through fifth, so what did I say? Spain and USA are only separated by about 36 seconds after day one action, so nothing to hit the panic button about, nothing to be alarmed over. But yeah, that's the World Trophy standings. And the Junior Trophy standings, I didn't write the junior times down, but Grant was the top American, but it was Italy that claimed the honors for the day off the back of Kevin Cristino, as well as Manuel Verzaroli. They were 1 and 2 in the World Trophy standings. And Francis Leo Joyon rounded out third. I think another Frenchman was in the top 5, as well as Kyron Bacon. He was 4th overall for the day. Or actually, he might have been 3rd. Kyron might have been 3rd, and then the other Frenchman was 4th, I believe, or the first Frenchman was 4th. I can't remember exactly, but like I said, but Grant was 9th junior, Mateo was 11, and Cooper was 16, I believe, if I remember correctly. As far as the team standings go, it is Italy out front with Cristino, Verzaroli, and then their third rider, Alberto Algari. And then I believe it's Australia in second. France is third, or actually France might be second, Australia third, USA fourth, and then Spain rounding out the top 5 in that one. Then in the Women's World Trophy classification, it was all USA today. Corey Steve, Brandy Richards splitting test wins on the day, which was huge, especially for Corey. She was feeling really good, and she actually held the lead going into the last special test today, and unfortunately stuck the bike in a rut and took her about 40 to 45 seconds to get it out, and she was not happy about all that, but she's not far off of Brandy. She's not far off of Brandy for the lead, and then the third American, Rachel Gudish, she's third overall. So Brandy, Rachel, and Corey are crushing it right now. Nearly 7 minutes, and as far as the team standings go, over Australia. Rough day for the newcomer, Madison Healy. I've got video of her. She really struggled up a gnarly hill climb, and our girls almost had a problem with it, but they escaped it without problem. Shelby Turner from Canada had an issue with it. 2 of the Italian girls had issues with that hill at various points during the day, so that it was tough, and they got to hit it again tomorrow. They've got USA has 7 minutes on Australia. Third, I think, is Great Britain. I can't remember for sure, but regardless, 7 minutes after the first test, after the first day, and all USA really has got to just keep putting it together, and they've gotten the win. And then club riders finally finished. If you saw my Instagram story, Tanner Whipple and Zane Roberts they were held up because of a crash at the final test. There were still about 40 or so riders behind Zane, but I actually have the club results written down on the note. I'm going to breeze through this, but top American today, Thorne Devlin with a 4th place finish. P7 on the day was Brody Johnson. Rounding out the top 10 individually on club was Will Seven Piper. Leighton Smale was 15th. Lane Whitmer was 16th. Cole Whitmer 19th. Anson Maloney rounding out the top 20. Chase Landers was 24th. Zane Roberts in 26th. JoJo Cunningham 32nd. Ryder Tomaselli in 34th. Jaden Donners 37th. Lane Lorenzo 38th. Colton Shields 41st. Max Gersten in 52nd. Collier Martinez 53rd. and Tanner Whipple in 71st. And I heard Collier had a crash in the last test, but I haven't heard anything on how bad it is, what his condition is, if he's going to be able to finish out the week or at least even start tomorrow. But that is your individual standings. And then the women's club isn't factored into it. We started with one team, which was ours, the Randy Master Memorial team, with Ava Silvestri, Ellie Winland, and Ashley Gage. Then we got 2 riders for the FIM Latin America team, but then when I pull up the results, they're not on the sheet. So I don't know, but Ava Silvestri leading the way in that one, Ellie Winland in second, and Ashley Gage in third. So they are 1, 2, and 3, and they already have the women's club win for ISDE. As far as the men's club team standings, the Rabbit Honda team is in third after today. Right behind them, Missouri Mutters, P4. The Mojo SXS team, the side-by-side team, in P5. The GTBN team is in 7th. The XC Gear team is in 8th. And the Hugh Legacy Racing team rounds out the top 20 in the club team classifications out of about 140-some teams, I think. So, yeah, a lot of riders, almost 700 riders to start day 1 action. But that's going to do it. By the time you see this, I'll be back at the hotel, eating, hanging out with the team. But follow along on my Instagram story for up-to-date information as much as possible. Like and subscribe if you like the video. Check out the raw highlights from today as well as the rest of the week's action on Dirt Bike Magazine's YouTube channel. If you want to watch any live action from ISDE, you can go to fim-moto.tv. I think it's $12 for the week. There is a live pre-show through the paddock and through the work areas. There is the final special test of each day is live, and that was actually great coverage today. I watched it when I got back to the paddock, and some of the back riders were still going in the World Trophy. And then the post-race show from the paddock in the studio, that you actually get to see the impound behind you with all the bikes and all the riders as they come into impound. There's a slight possibility I'll end up doing a morning of the pre-show or an afternoon of the post-show, depending on how the schedules work out. But follow along on fim-moto.tv. But until next time, this is KWolfe signing off. Thanks for watching, guys.